I still got that fire burning deep inside. I'm looking forward to showing that I'm the special one. I think once I do the job on Errol Spence, the Americans are going to know, because I don't think that I've got the credit I deserve. I think this is going to be the fight that kind of puts me #1 on the pound for pound list as the best fighter out there in the world. Them Yanks, when I box Sean Porter, they really go over the top, the Americans. I think it's well known that they really hype a job up. They really do. With Jeff Lacy back in the day, when he boxed Joe Calzaghe, he was the best thing since sliced bread. Then he came over and got a masterclass from Joe Calzaghe. He made Lacy look like an amateur. People don't realize that when the real Kell Brook turns up, I'm a monster. I showed that in my last fight against Golovkin with the eye injury. I put on a show. No one has ever done what I did to Golovkin, and he's a big middleweight that walks through everybody. I just think he's going to bring the best out of me, Errol Spence, because he is a talented kid. But nobody has seen how good this guy really is, and I hope that I bring the best out of him. Those are the words of IBF welterweight world champion Kell Brook, talking about his upcoming fight against mandatory challenger Errol Spence Jr. Tough talk from Brook. He's building up his confidence. And this is what fighters do. A lot of fans seem to take exception to when fighters are saying these things in the build up to fights, when they're saying, I'm going to do this and that to the opponent, and when they're trying to draw confidence from this and that experience. Fans, for some reason, get upset and say the fighter should shut up. It's nonsense, in my opinion, when fans say these kind of things. The fighter has to build his confidence up. He has to say these kind of things and what have you, if he feels the need to. Everybody has got their own method. Everybody has got their own routine of how they get themselves psyched up for a fight. And this is Kell Brook's routine. He's talking about comparisons between Joe Calzaghe and Jeff Lacy. And his trainer has also talked about this. And I've seen many Kell Brook fans bring this up. And, you know, that's cool if that's how he gets himself prepared for the fight. But from a rational, logical point of view, as a boxing fan looking from the outside in, Errol Spence is no Jeff Lacy. I think he's a lot better than Jeff Lacy. And Kell Brook is no Joe Calzaghe. I don't think he's anywhere near as good as Joe Calzaghe. And obviously, the fighters are very different stylistically. The scenario may have some similarities. Jeff Lacy was a world champion, actually, when he fought Joe Calzaghe. And he was being, you know, highly touted and hyped up. But as I say, me personally, I never saw the ability in Jeff Lacy that I do see in Errol Spence Jr. I just didn't see it. He was a decent fighter, but, you know, I think Errol Spence is a lot better. And Joe Calzaghe wasn't coming off a stoppage defeat, a long layoff, and a bad eye injury. The way that, actually, I'm not sure if he was coming back from a long layoff, Calzaghe. He may have been, but still, he wasn't coming back from a bad eye injury and a loss. He was undefeated when he fought Jeff Lacy. So, different situation, but I understand what Kell Brook is doing in his mind. And he talks about not getting the credit he deserves. I think he has got the credit that he deserves. Yes, he had a good win over Sean Porter, but that was a long time ago. Since then, he fought Jojo Dan, Kevin Bizier, and Frankie Gavin. So it hardly inspires, you know, confidence in the minds of fans when those are the kind of guys you're taking on. You know, they're not going to be true believers in you if those are the kind of guys you're fighting. Yes, he did fight Triple G, but again, he lost. He stepped up to middleweight, he lost. So who is he actually beating at welterweight recently? You know, Sean Porter is the only name on his resume in the win column that means anything. And lastly, he talked about if he beats Errol Spence, it will put him #1 on the pound for pound list. I think he's getting very carried away with that one. #1 pound for pound, I think, takes a lot more than beating an Errol Spence. Errol Spence is a contender. He's barely out of the prospect stage, and he's now in the contender stage. So, you know, beating him certainly would not make Kell Brook #1 pound for pound. Cleaning out the welterweight division, that might make him #1 pound for pound, but he's still got several fighters to go before he can do that. Let's say he beats Errol Spence, he would then have to beat the winner of Furman Garcia, maybe even beat Amir Khan, or, sorry, the winner of Amir Khan, Manny Pacquiao, if that fight happens. so on and so forth. If he managed to do all that, then maybe an argument could be made that he would be number one pound for pound. But at the moment, he's getting a bit ahead of himself. Let's see how he does against Errol Spence. He knows he's up against it. He knows Errol Spence is serious. He's going to train extremely hard. And we may well see the best of Kell Brook if we haven't seen it already. I'm still leaning towards Errol Spence winning the fight, despite the fact that the fight will be happening in the UK, in Sheffield, and Brook's hometown. I just think the momentum is with Errol Spence right now. But I'm anticipating a great fight, a very competitive fight, and I certainly wouldn't be surprised if Kell Brook managed to pull it out the bag. So let me know what you feel about everything I talked about in this video, people. The quotes from Kell Brook, how do you feel about them? It's happening, I'm out.